we're in a bit of a pickle this week because Harry is in Melbourne, and so we had to pull Callan in because Harry's mic kept screwing up. And then Harry's mic was fine, and then we felt bad about throwing away Callan. So now we have both Callan and Harry, and they both have to fight for my love. Hello, guys.
Yo.
Wait. Why are we feeling bad about throwing away Callan?
Oh, that's true.
Never felt bad about it in the past.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is just like you guys telling me about an event 10 minutes after it began.
It's Callan, it just shows our level of esteem for you. That's all.
Yep.
We don't have the greatest track record when it comes to that, I will admit.
Oh, yes. Callan, come to Threadbow 3 hours after you arrived.
I think we actually did that.
Yes, you did.
Callan, Japan's great this time of year. You should come. Oh, really? When? Oh, we got here last week.
No. In our defense, we did give him is it 1 or 2 months? About 1 or 2 months.
Yeah, and you picked the one
advance
time of
notice.
year I can't go. Chinese New Year. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and then there's 1 hour of the promotion left from Jetstar. So
Yeah.
So Harry, how's your day in Melbourne? In fact, how was your whole weekend at the Formula Ones?
Okay, the Formula One was a highlight, but holy shit, Melbourne is such a hole.
It is. It really is.
It really is. But no, the Formula One was freaking awesome. They had
told you, right?
flybys and jet engines and freaking... they had a Qantas plane fly over so perfectly that from the stadium you could see the sun through the windows, which means the windows on both sides of the airplane had to line up perfectly with your eyes and the sun.
Harry, do you understand how perspective works?
Yes, I understand that perspective.
It was fine for you. The people on the other side of the track, it would not have been fine for.
Yeah, well, it sucks to be them on the other side of the track. Everyone in my stadium.
You are on a track which is basically, to a certain degree, a loop. Your perspective is not the perspective of everybody watching the race.
He did a number of flybys.
He
Okay.
did. He went very low, and then an FA18 goes down this pit straight, and then just sort of goes 90 degrees, and just goes up 22,000 feet in 10 seconds. It's
The roar it makes when it hits the afterburner.
Did you watch him dump his fuel?
Yeah.
He dumps his fuel, and then he lights his afterburners and lights all his fuel up. It's fucking awesome.
I did that on the weekend too.
loud.
Yeah, I'll bet you did. Anyway, so today, good day then, Harry? Recovery day from the F1s?
No. Holy shit. The one day I'm not in the office is just work Armageddon. It's been ridiculous. I'm working right now.
You should have said Armageddon out of there.
No, he shouldn't have ever.
I'll just let
Please.
I
myself
knew this
die
day
in a
could
hole
get
somewhere.
worse. I knew this day could get worse. And then John
I
said,
think I came back too soon.
Oh, that's right, Tucker. It's your first episode in 2015. Welcome.
Not too good start with that, John. Not too good start.
And we also have Finny. Hello, Finny.
Yeah, look.
Lean a bit closer to your mic, maybe, Finny. You're very quiet.
Speaking of shitty week, I had to start paying you.
Me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, we went over it last week, I think, but
Yeah.
yes.
But just to
Shitty
confirm to
week,
the
I
audience,
Astro.
I actually would rather part with the better part of $1,000 than install Origin.
Why, Harry? Just...
Brussels.
He paid me my first repayment, and he gets a free knife set if he makes all 3 easy repayments.
With his credit card.
Yeah.
Plus postage handling.
Yeah.
Of course.
Ah.
Oh, man. It was very satisfying to receive that, but it would be much more satisfying if you sold me your dignity instead, Harry.
I know.
Origin. Think of all the fun games you could be playing, like Sim City and Mass Effect 3.
Battlefield. Dragon Age.
Well, I
Nope.
mean, I was picking games that I know he hates, but
No, John, you have to entice him. You have to entice him.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, show a little flesh. He likes that.
Well, speaking of showing a little flesh, Apple opened the kimono last week, and we didn't really talk about it because we're waiting for Tucker, because Tucker's the only other one here who wants a Apple Watch.
You should be a Segway salesman.
Yeah. Hey, Finny, I've got this great deal for you. Segway Master.
I may need to purchase your services there.
Dude, fucking speaking of segways, I really want to ride a Segway again in San Francisco. My brother and my dad were down in Melbourne for the F1s as well, and they had an off-road Segway track, and they beat the best time because they'd done it before in San Francisco. And oh man, the pictures, they look so good. It's like
John, a lot of your personal problems we solved by walking.
Yeah, but a lot of my, boredom problems will be fixed by segueing.
Mm.
And also, gravity is not his friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, gravity's my friend.
Gravity is not the friend of the significant gentleman.
That's true.
Yeah, so speaking of Supreme Gentlemen, so Apple talked about the MacBook, the new MacBook, and the Apple Watch and Research Kit. So in the order that they talked about it, which was literally the opposite of the order I just said, we'll talk about Research Kit first. So Research Kit is a API that they're open sourcing. Well, not API. How would I explain it? How would I explain it? Not an API.
Oh my gosh, this is how I feel like the past 3 weeks listening to the podcast.
They're MP3ing a Nintendo.
That's it, I'm out. Jimmy is rustled.
Okay, it's a kit. I know they're open sourcing it, but I don't know what the kit would be called. It's not an API. What is it?
It's an SDK. SDK, John.
SDK. That's
Oh my
the
god.
That's the.
I love it how I have absolutely no idea what is going on here, yet are you trying to describe an SDK? Is
Yes.
all that's going through my head.
Hey, by the way,
He's trying to describe an SDK whilst simultaneously rustling my jimmies.
Yeah, I was only pretending to be retarded. So I found out the other day, speaking of which, that if it's like SDK, it's not called an acronym, it's called an initialism. But if it's something that you can spell out, like say phonetically, then it's an acronym. So like CIA is an initialism, but I don't know, what's something you can spell out? That's a...
I just think we need to cut funding to English departments if this is what they're coming up with. Their money could be better spent elsewhere.
Yeah. Well,
No, the Faculty of Arts needs its income.
Yeah, if only I could come up with the actual acronym. But either way, so Research Kit, whether it be an API or an SDK, is a way for medical institutions to use the wide reach of not just iPhones but all phones, hence the open source part. It can go on Android and Windows and BlackBerry as well. And get people to, do medical surveys or diabetes tests or a whole bunch of stuff. Alzheimer's research, do it all on their phones, because usually, these sorts of things have very small sample sizes and take years to put together and is all over a very small demographic. While once this thing was released last week, some particularly breast cancer research in Stanford, I think it is, already has 11,000 people signed up for it. And usually that will take them about 8 months to a year to get that many people on board. And it happens like once every 10 years. So, so that happened. They pushed that thing out there. That's a SDK you can make any apps with now. And it's all open source. So if you're an Android developer, you can use that too. Then they moved on to the new MacBook. Harry's favorite MacBook, I think it goes without saying.
Russell.
I'll explain what it is briefly, and then we can talk about, the major feature of it that some of us like and some of us don't. Very thin MacBook. It's the same physical size as a 11-inch MacBook Air, except the screen, there's no bezel really. The screen goes all the way out, so the screen itself is 12 inches. It's a Retina screen. It's 13.1 millimeters. You can get it in space gray, gold, or silver. Let's see. The trackpad doesn't push anymore. It's got Force Touch, which sounds like something from Star Wars, but it has a haptic feedback engine in it. So when you go and click, just like with the Apple Watch, when you click down hard, it pushes back on you. So it feels like you're actually tapping down. Apparently, it works quite well. Now, the biggest feature of this MacBook is, well, two features. One is that its logic board is only about 3 centimeters by 5 centimeters, which means they can fill the whole thing with a lot of battery. And the other big thing is it's only got one port. It's USB Type-C, so it can put through power, USB 3, video, and normal USB 2 and 1, backwards compatible, obviously, all through this one port. So I'll let Harry yell at me for a little while, and then I'll explain why I think it's okay. But I also want to hear Tucker and Finney and Cal's thoughts. So, Harry, you go ahead and tell me why this is the worst thing Apple's ever done.
I'll be brief on it. It's just, I understand a company will always want to push the envelope to see how much money it can make on a terrible product, but this is at the point where everything has amounted.
And then Harry was burying the lead. That's not how you...
But it's just, the list is so long, it becomes too obvious. The cat's out of the bag. I mean, we're talking about a mobile processor, a 480p, is it?
Yeah.
Webcam?
The webcam.
In 2015. No Thunderbolt. So Apple's basically announcing to the world, yeah, okay, we finally give up on Thunderbolt. It's got a port that no one uses and no one ever will use.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Department of Leaping to Conclusions, Harrison Lee.
It has a $75 adapter to make it useful. Apple wants you to trip on this thing and break the shit out of it, so you have to buy another one, so they're getting rid of MagSafe.
You've never used a MacBook Air, have you, Harry? MacBook Airs, when you pull on a MagSafe, it doesn't come out. They're too light. This thing's about half the weight of a MacBook Air.
Well, that's,
so it wouldn't
sad.
matter.
But no, I've definitely tripped on a MacBook Air, and the MagSafe came right out.
Well, I've held a MacBook Air. I've held a MacBook Air up by its MagSafe.
Oh my god! I fucking tripped on my laptop and it broke. This is totally the manufacturer's fault. Fuck me.
No, I'm saying that MagSafe is a really good thing. I've not broken a lot of computers, and I've seen my family not break a lot of computers because they were Macs. That lost Apple a lot of money. My family alone would have spent a couple of extra $1,000 easy.
Harry, have you seen the movie?
I think your logic is incorrect here.
I think your logic is terrible, where you're going into this whole thing always assuming that they want you to... They're in this to fuck you over.
Well, that's just it. I'm saying the list is so great that it's obvious. Like, there's no excuse for this level of cutbacks.
Are you kidding me?
Like the classic Apple light on the back that's on every freaking computer.
Oh my god,
they're getting rid of that.
Oh my god. Okay.
The battery life is worse
John.
than the previous
I'll let you finish.
Again.
Finish. Keep going. I'll let you finish. Keep going.
Nah, that's...
Okay, well, let's start with the Apple light.
Good.
Let's start with the Apple light on the back. That's always meant that you've had to use more battery power because of the light leakage, because you're letting all the light out the back. It's fine. It's overdue that they're putting a mirror finish on there instead of the thing, as well as this makes the screen much thinner because they don't have to have the hole cut through it and have extra strength there.
Look, that's why I threw that at the end of the list. That's a small thing, but it is a stick on the camel's back.
Okay. The other thing, Thunderbolt, that you talked about.
Yeah.
First off, this is one computer. They still make all their other computers and, in fact, still updated them. So they're all updated recently this week with the new Broadwell stuff, so you don't have to buy this computer at all anyway. Your leaping to conclusions is silly about how, this doesn't have Thunderbolt, therefore... nothing will ever have Thunderbolt again, and Apple are abandoning Thunderbolt.
It is quite political. You have to realize business is very... This
But you don't know
developers.
Anything about the business.
I'm sorry. Every developer that was thinking Thunderbolt is looking at that and going, oh shit, maybe all those bazillion articles that say Thunderbolt's going to be the next Firewire, maybe they're true. Maybe I should just stick with USB like everyone else and their dog. So
that sounds like... So you're arguing two different points here, though. You're saying, first off, that this USB-C, which is a standard and it's already on a ton of computers and devices, you're saying that this will never take off. And then on the other hand, you're saying that it will take off.
No, I just mean USB standard, like USB 3.1, the normal type of USB 3.1.
So you don't think this USB-C will be a thing?
Oh, it'll be a thing on mobiles, definitely, in like 5 years' time, sure. Absolutely.
So you don't think it'll be a thing on computers at all?
On computers,
like
you'll
it's already a thing.
You'll see the blue USB big thing,
What, USB 3?
Yeah. USB 3.1 is the standard of USB.
So
Type
is USB-C.
C is the physical shape. Type A, or 1, or whatever you want to call it, is the normal USB that we're all used to.
Right, yes. Correct.
It's so patently clear that neither of you do any work with legacy devices. USB-C will take off, but it will take a long time, simply because that's the way it works. USB-A will still be the majority for quite some time until legacy gets over itself.
Yeah.
Either way...
Why is B even a thing? Who made B? That guy's a retard.
B was was actually to make it easier because B was supposed to be the device, whereas A was always supposed to be the host.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Well, with
So
this
that's
thing,
why
it's
all
got-
printers have B, why all essentially machines you're talking to that are not hosts have a B port, so that you had a differentiator between your host and your device.
Who looks at a printer and goes, "Yep, that's my host device"?
And then Harry was engineering.
and then Harry's mind was killed. So this, speaking of host and device, apparently another feature of USB Type-C is so the laptop itself takes up about 20 watts of power, but apparently this thing can output 100 watts in and out. So not only can it charge with 100 watts, and so the battery charges in about 35 minutes apparently. You can output 100 watts. You can charge up to 100 watts worth of devices, which is like 20 phones.
We are going to see so many fires from shitty cables. Oh my god!
Oh,
Putting
boy.
100, if you put 100 watt through a badly made or badly shielded cable, basically you're guaranteeing yourself a fire right there.
Yeah. But there are two sides to this. There's the side that says, there's the side where we're talking about the port itself and its use, and then there's the side talking about there should be more ports. I mean, having USB Type-C is fine, but it should also have X and Y, right?
Yep.
That's sort of what you're saying, right, Harry? Okay.
I did notice a nice little change Apple's made with its advertisements for the Thunderbolt display.
What do you mean? Where?
Well, if you went onto the Mac store, if you go into any Apple store that still physically have posters, you can see they have a nice picture of the Apple display, Thunderbolt display connected to a MacBook Air. It's a very nice little setup, how it shows, just one cable. They've recently changed those to the MacBook Pro because the Apple Thunderbolt device is not fully compatible with this new MacBook.
But this doesn't replace the Air.
No, but the point is they're
replace
just trying
anything.
to
It's a new product, Harry.
shift away because they're advertising, hey, if you got a laptop, a thin Apple laptop, you can have a big screen with it. That's no longer guaranteed. If you have
no
this
longer guaranteed
particular-
you have a Thunderbolt screen, but you can always get an adapter and make it work.
Yeah, you can have an adapter and make it a DisplayPort screen. You said DisplayPort can handle sound. Is that true?
Yeah, mini DisplayPort.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Callan?
Yeah, it's 100%
Research.
can. You're at Harry all the time.
no,
We're
I
at my
can.
place, and you can
Cool.
plug my laptop into my TV, and then we're watching stuff all of a sudden. That's through mini DisplayPort.
The DisplayPort is
Yep, same here.
basically HDMI done properly.
Yeah, you can
It really is.
Yeah. So that's not an issue that you just made up in your head. That's an issue.
Hey, I read it up and I noticed that some different posters were going around, so I was like, yeah, that seems appropriate and
Well,
politically correct of the company.
That seems appropriate to this narrative you've created in your mind about the company. The other thing is ports or not. Forget about the ports, right? Whether they're useful or whatever, this laptop. The thing is that you got to treat this, the way this laptop's been marketed and the way we were all expecting it because it was leaked beforehand, hence our bet, was you got to treat it like an iPad. It's only got one port. You don't use it at a desk. You charge it once a day at night when you go to bed. The people using this don't use the ports on their computers anyway. And specifically, geeks like us are not just unqualified to judge this product, we're anti-qualified to judge this product. This laptop's not for us at all. They still
Sounds
make
like
all
you're
the
saying
other
it's for
Macs.
dumb people.
They still make... No, it's for people.
it's-
Normal people. My mum does not know how to use a computer, but she's fucking all over her iPad. This computer is for her.
That's
Doesn't
an
have to worry
expensive
about
bloody iPad.
confusing port. It's not that expensive. $1,300.
$1,300.
She doesn't have to worry about confusing ports and all this sort of stuff. She wants sometimes a full computer, but she doesn't want to have to
Confusing
worry
ports.
about actually. Listen, Harry. Some people don't know what the hell Thunderbolt, mini DisplayPort, any of this stuff is. They don't know the difference between USB 2 and USB 3. What if they just have one thing they plug in, that's all they have to worry about? And they don't even have to plug it in all the time because they're sitting on the couch or they're sitting on the train or they're sitting on the bus. It's like an iPad. You just have it lying around the house and you pick it up and you go and then you plug it in at night.
I would agree, but I did just sit in our Victorian office here with... in an office of a staff member who does not know how Macs work at all. The man is just of that generation where computers don't click with his mind, but he sure as heck does have every single port used on his laptop. I showed you a photo of it. We literally had every single port minus the SD card reader on the MacBook Pro being used.
Oh, so you're telling me that a professional in a professional environment is using a professional computer in a professional way? That's not who this laptop is for. This laptop is for mums and grandmas. They still make all the other Macs. In fact, as I said, they just upgraded the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. You can go get those. Now, if they called this new one the MacBook Air, like the new Air or whatever, that's when you should get worried about the one-port thing spreading to all the other Macs. But they didn't. This is a new product. I don't see the point of worrying about it. It's a new product. They're not cannibalizing and taking over other products.
What CPU is it running?
Broadwell Core M.
Core M, yeah.
Let's have a look.
It's a slow thing. It's equivalent apparently to a 2012 MacBook Air, speed-wise. See, that's
keep talking. I'm gonna have a look at the core.
Yeah, they've done a lot of compromises, like as you say, the 480p camera, the slow processor. There's a lot of compromises to this machine to get it to be the thinnest thing they could and the lightest thing they could. Now that they've made the thinnest thing they could and the lightest thing they could, the next step is to put a better processor in it next year and maybe more ports and maybe a bigger battery. But the first product has to be, the thinnest they can get, and then they go from there. It's the same with the MacBook Airs, it's the same with the iPhones. They just try to make it as thin as possible. I reckon you'll see next year's iPhone won't be some crazy. It'll be pretty much just slightly thinner than the iPhone 6, but it'll be much more powerful and have better battery life.
I don't think we want thinner than the iPhone 6. Ben Gate Mark II.
Yeah. But that's how Apple does things. They get their target, they get to it, and then they upgrade every year and iterate. Their first products are never good.
Hey, I'll have you know I'm a big fan of the original iPad.
Yeah, I know you are.
I literally only stopped using it because I was physically given a new iPad.
Yeah, but Harry, you're a Luddite, remember? You don't change. Like, if it was up to you, we'd still be using the printing press. In fact, we wouldn't be using the printing press because that took away labor from the masses.
I can see this, judging by the core and the specs you guys have discussed, I can see this being popular with companies that rely on VMs.
Yeah. Well, it's got 8 gigs of RAM, so that's enough.
Yeah, no, that's you don't need like really much RAM to run a VM so long as you've built it properly. So it could be popular with portability, with essentially hyper portability for
that's
business.
The whole idea with it is portability. Like, you ever flown economy on a plane and tried to pull out a 15-inch MacBook Pro?
No, but I have pulled out my 13-inch MacBook Pro. Holy shit, that thing's designed for that exact situation.
Now you should try this one.
15-inch laptop on the
Nah,
plane
fuck that.
to Japan and gave up because the damn thing was too big.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
That was
okay.
pretty funny to watch.
No. So, my new, kind of old now, but this MacBook, John, I'm so happy I got it. Oh my gosh. It was the perfect laptop to take from Australia to Japan and then back to Australia. Like, it lasted the entire trip, including the 5 hours I was stuck in that horrible hellhole called Cairns International Airport.
I'm glad. I'm very happy for you, Tucker.
I was so happy.
So
I expect...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, so I'm expecting the new MacBook... So the new MacBook to kind of fulfill that desire to be able to... It's an on-the-go thing. So I understand completely what John's on about, Harry. You are wrong in this. You probably put 17 minutes of thought into it and then decided against it. Whereas...
I just looked at the tech specs, actually. It says, so the screen itself is Retina, so you can run the screen at Retina, and also it supports up to...
480? Yeah, it was 480, isn't it?
Huh? No, on an external display. 3,840 by 2160 pixels. So that's 2K you can put onto a screen. And most people, would be doing it at 1080p anyway. So you can do it perfectly fine. It says native display.
Did John just support 1080p?
So
this is a first.
So it says native DisplayPort 1.2 video output. So that's how it's doing it. You can do VGA as well or HDMI if you want to. So that's my defense of the MacBook. Finney,
1080p
how
and
does
VGA.
As a recent purchaser of a 15-inch notebook, were money, no object, but your big thing was portability. What would you think of this?
Well, I do use ports on a laptop, so I wouldn't get it.
There you go.
But you can buy a hub which gives you those ports.
That's true.
To me, that's irritating, though.
Yeah, you got to carry the hub around.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
he's
going
right,
to do
he's
that.
irritating.
If I had the money, I'd buy an Ultrabook in that instance.
Yeah.
I still see this essentially the MacBook as a light, ultra portable laptop that I can just throw in my bag walk around, chuck it out from sitting around on the bus or the train, quickly type on it. It's not designed for power users. It's designed for, like John said, everyone else who just do light works, like essentially light kind of work on it, like documents. They're not going to be doing any. I was going to say gaming, but you can't play games on Mac.
It's going to be web browsing.
Exactly.
All right, but I hope you're not chucking it anywhere because that thing's paper thin and will snap.
Sure.
Why would you be throwing your laptop?
I don't know. Tucker said I'll
Because when I say chuck it in my bag,
because we're in Australia, Harry, and we say chuck it for everything.
I have a notorious habit of throwing
confirmed
my
Australians
laptop.
will break all of their computers.
Oh, I'll just take a right turn here around this roundabout. Nah, chuck a Yui at the roundo. That's how we
chuck a left.
We chuck everything.
But, Harry, you saw how I treated my MacBook in Japan, right? There was a MacBook which was encased in I got it right here, this blue foam-like case, which is then placed inside another bag case. So when I say chuck...
was so protective of it that I don't think I actually ever saw it.
Well, my MacBook Air, I just throw around, and that doesn't even have a case on it, and that's perfectly fine. That's the same size as this thing.
You're crazy, John.
Yeah. Although, if you want to be a slight power user, what you can do is, Harry, if you get this and you've got your iPad, right, you can plug your iPad into it and use your iPad as a second screen. And so have them both side by side, and they're both the same size, roughly.
Because multiple.
I would just laugh at you so hard, Harry.
I tried it once. I tried it at work with my old iPad 2, though, so it was a bit laggy. But apparently on the new one, it's pretty good. So you could always try that. Anyway.
Don't do that.
Now moving on to the main event. Fashion time, Tucker.
I am so ready, John. My credit card, it's sitting...
Did you just
I'm clapping.
Jerk off right then?
Apple Watch. Apple Watch.
You want an Apple Watch?
Yes. I told you, my credit card is sitting right next to me. It's ready. I am ready for April 10th.
What's the number written on the front of it?
Oh, yeah, okay, so... I see what you're trying to do there.
Very funny, Eddie Murphy.
Well played, sir. Yeah. Well played.
So which one are you going to get, Tucker? Sorry, no, let's say, which one would you like to get, and then which one will you get?
Yeah, you're probably thinking I want to get the edition. The answer's no.
No, I don't want the edition either.
No. Not even if someone maybe if someone offered me, because then I'll sell the edition and buy the one I do want, which is the metal normal one. So, you know, the normal
They're
watch.
all metal, Tucker.
No, as in the metal band. Sorry, I should specify.
The
steel band, yeah. So that's the one I would like. However, I will probably pre-order.
You want the steel watch?
Yes, steel watch.
Right.
And the 42mm, not the 38.
Right, because
I think the 38 is just too small for wrist.
I think Apple have been very careful here not to call them men's and women's sizes. Even
no.
That's
exactly what they're for.
Generally the size.
Yeah.
For men's watches and women's watches.
Except for you, John, who you would go for the 38mm.
No, I think maybe I'll do 42 now because we need to see it. We need to see it in person.
Yeah,
but on the website they look way bigger than they actually are. Apparently.
It's either the website, the mobile website, or the app. One of them has an actual size section on it, so you just put a phone over your wrist and it'll show the actual size of the watch.
Okay.
And I use that, and that's why I determined that the 42mm is what I want, and not 38.
I should do that. So the one you want is $900.
The steel normal edition.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the watch itself is 500 something, and the band is 450, I think.
No, it's
the steel band
I think it's 1700.
No, it's not 1700. It's $1,000.
No, it's 1700. No. John, I bet you've been looking at the bloody American store again. We've been through this.
Oh, yeah, I might have been. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, so.
We got it right here.
Okay, I have it open. Crap, I closed the window. Let me bring it up
again.
Okay,
so the cheapest steel one is $799, and the one we want is $1,400 Australian dollars.
Yes, Australian dollars, $1,400.
$1,400.
Is that the 38 or the 42?
No, 42. Now the one we actually are going to get, because we don't have $1,400 on a first-gen product, is just the shitty, aluminium glass sports one with a shitty rubber. Sorry, not rubber. Fluoroelastomer band. But
you see, John, that kind of works out for me because I will be using it for its intended market. I will be exercising and wearing the watch at the same time.
Well, I'll wear this watch as I lean out my window and laugh at you. That's what I'll do.
Hey, at least I got swag.
Did that really happen?
That really happened last night.
It really happened.
Tucker, you actually tried to get John out of his house to do exercise.
Yes, keywords.
How hard did he laugh at you?
He said it on Facebook, right? And then he says, "I'm coming down the stairs now" on Facebook. And I look out the window and he's going down the stairs. And I yell out, "Hey, Tugger!" And he goes, "Huh? Well, yeah. Fuck you!" And he goes, keeps running.
John, see, one day you realize the error of your ways and you will come for a run with me across the Harbour Bridge and back.
Hey, I did it twice, alright?
And then John will die.
Yeah.
And then John will die of a heart attack.
That's all right. Tucker and I can use our smartwatches and measure our exercise.
Hey, yeah, maybe
Exactly.
when I get the watch, maybe that will make me do it. Who knows?
Not like
But still, it's important that we understand why we're getting the sports watch and not the much better looking steel watch.
Because the
Price.
sports watch only costs $500.
Exactly. I know. That plus, I don't think they've actually stated what the cycle, like the life cycle will be for the watches, have they?
I think, so I've got a few opinions on this. When it comes to the edition one, I have this theory, might not be right, but the edition, which is the gold one, from $10,000 up to $17,000.
Oh my god, you're wrong again, John. Holy shit.
Well, whatever it is in Australian, whatever. We have an
It's like
international audience,
21,000 in Australia.
We have an international audience, so I'm just saying it in the
Okay.
actual canonical.
Then state the currency before you throw numbers out there.
Whatever it is in your currency. It's 10,000 to 17,000 USD. That one.
Thank you.
I think, what if they only make it in the first year? Like it's a one-off.
Ooh,
They don't do it every year. It's a one-off, which means if you spend that much on it,
you're an idiot.
you've got the first and only
Well-
Apple Watch.
They did say that the edition was going to be a limited edition.
Oh yeah, well no shit. I mean, it's made of fucking 18 karat gold. So
No, but they
Those
emphasize it
maybe
being
more.
like, this will be... I mean, apart from the fact that it's ridiculously expensive, that
Yeah,
they are going to limit it.
well, it'll be limited numbers right now. But I mean, what if next year? Say that the cycle is every year. What if next year they don't do it? What if they do it once every 5 years?
That's what I was thinking.
Or
It'll be
they
like
don't do it
a once every... Like, I think that the edition will have a separate cycle to the other two.
I think so. As for, I don't know what the selling cycle will be. Like they refresh these watches every year, or every 2 years, or every 3 years. But I think the using cycle will be similar to the using cycle of an iPad. Now, not Harry's using cycle of an iPad, but a normal person's usage cycle of an iPad, which is generally
1
they
year.
keep it. No, generally keep it for about three and a half years.
Yeah, I was thinking 3 years as well.
Yeah, which is generally probably how long I'll keep mine. But as for the gold one, I don't think it's any secret why the best looking and most expensive one is the gold with a red leather band, because that's China's colors, gold and red. And in China, they don't have the taboo against like ostentatious displays of wealth like we do here. Well, we did in the 80s, but we don't anymore. Like there's a huge amount of people over there who buy a $10,000 watch for themselves or their loved ones. So I don't think the edition is anything out of the ordinary over there. So I think we can pretty much leave them out of the conversation, the edition, and just focus on the ones that, the cheaper, more affordable ones. Now, Harry, I know you're not going to get one because you don't have an iPhone.
Well, no, but yeah,
Pleb.
that's only because I don't have an iPhone. If I did have an iPhone, I'd definitely get one because I'm very happy with my Google Wear watch. It's fantastic. And I'm actually quite excited for the iWatch because it's probably going to push a lot of Android users to grab Google Wear. And once they have it, they'll realize that wearable tech is actually really taking off. Most people, I don't think, are aware of where we're up to with wearable tech.
Finny, how do you feel as a Android user?
Couldn't care less.
So
Thank you.
Not about the Apple Watch, but would you get a similar to Harry's one?
No.
Not even for the
Until-
utility.
No, I can't justify the money on something which basically the purpose is makes me more lazy, and because I can't be bothered to pull my phone out of my pocket. So no, unless I'll buy a smartwatch when it is quite literally the phone is on my wrist, and it's not a piece of crap.
You see, you can, at least with the Apple Watch, you can make calls and receive them from your phone. Oh, sorry,
Look
through
at
the phone
stops-
onto the watch.
stops and weather and photos and alarm, stopwatch and timer and music and camera mode and remote and maps
Ooh,
and
question,
Siri
question.
and calendar and activity and work.
Does the
Telephone,
Apple Watch
mail.
have a speaker?
Yes, you can
Yes.
speak into your watch.
That's
Sorry?
called a microphone, John.
That's a microphone, John.
What? Does it have a speaker? Oh, play music? Yes.
You can play audio from the iWatch.
Yes, you can.
Ah.
I would say that
Well,
would
I
be
really need Google Wear to
You can
know,
watch
get up to
video.
that.
You can watch video on your. You can have a camera at home, and then if you're got like if you got one of those remote lock sort of things, and you have the app for it, and you're like, oh, Harry, I'm at your place, and you're like, oh shit, I'm not home yet. You can just quickly check your watch, see that I'm waiting outside in the camera, and unlock the door for me remotely. Shit.
That'd be cool.
That'd be a terrible idea, Harry. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, totally do it. Totally do it. Anyway, the app for that's already out if you want to try it. It's on the phone, and it also works on watch. I forgot what I was going to say about this. Callan, well, you've got an iPhone and an Android phone.
Yep.
Wait, are you in a smartwatch mood?
No, not really. The smartwatches, I can see them taking off, and Lord knows in the next few years I probably will get one. But at the moment, I just don't. I don't trust the technology itself. It's too new. I wouldn't be getting one until it becomes more mainstay, and there's essentially all the bugs are going to be ironed out. So I'm just not keen on spending money on first generation technology, regardless of whether it's a smartphone. Hell, if it's a frickin' something that's going to save my life, I still probably would wait until a second gen rather than risk blowing myself up.
Well, it's interesting that we're all talking about, like, you three are talking about the utility of it. Oh, it's not that useful yet, or it doesn't have the technology I want, or the price and all that.
Oh no, I don't deny its utility. It's more that this is all basically proof of concept at the moment, proof of concept en masse.
Yeah, but what I mean is you're talking about the utility rather than it as a fashion item, which is really what Tucker and I are getting it for as well.
I have never worn a watch. Ever.
Really?
You never worn a watch?
Yeah. Nope. Never watched.
Get a watch. It's manly.
Did you ever want to watch?
Yeah, I've owned plenty of watches.
So would you get this on a fashion side?
Nope. I'd buy an analog watch.
Yeah, I'm more with Finney on this, that I actually prefer properly made analog watches, simply because, like, even though I'd never, like, if I was going to buy one, I would buy one of those simply because I find the intricacy of their build fascinating.
Yeah, but if you, I mean, I agree. I like mechanical watches, and if I'm going to buy, if I was going to get the $17,000 Apple Edition, watch edition, the gold one, I'd go and spend $17,000 on a tag. But when it comes to a $500 thing, you can get nice watches for $500, but not nice watches, Like everything, I mean, if we're talking about swatches, like $30 watches, then that's...
Oh, yeah, no, I don't like those kind of watches, but yeah, if I was going to spend good money, like $1,000+ on a watch, I would still probably just get a mechanical watch. It has less of... It has a better feel to it, if you understand what I mean. Like the nostalgia, the classical sort of hip, almost hipster. But
this sounds like
less
madness.
No,
I have a $300 watch that just does so much stuff, and you guys are talking about getting a $1,000+ thing that can only tell you the time and maybe.
But Harry, that's fashion.
It's not about the utility of it. Yeah. It's your watch, for all of its utility, looks pretty average. It looks like a digital watch out of the 90s that cost $10.
Mm-hmm. It's round, so. Yeah,
well, no, it looks like every crappy digital watch I ever owned when I was in high school. Yeah. Round, black, plastic, that sort of deal. The point of buying a nice analog watch isn't utility, because, I mean, okay, there'll be a couple of dials inside which will show some irrelevant crap aside from the time, but you don't buy it for the utility, you buy it because it's effectively a piece of jewelry. It's a fashion accessory.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. I have, in fact, speaking of analog versus digital, when my watch is in standby, I typically have an analog face because digital looks ugly. It's only once I tap my watch that it switches to a digital display or digital time, as well as showing everything else. So, yeah, I can appreciate that there are a lot of aesthetics to consider. I mean, for one, I would never get a square watch, especially not the Google Wear ones. I don't mean that as in I wouldn't get an iWatch. I mean, the Apple Watch is not quite square.
Well, it's designed by Mark Newson, who designs a lot of watches, and his signature thing is square, so that's also...
Yeah, but it's a very roundish square, which looks quite nice.
Yeah, not square.
Now, for something a bit on the different side, I only heard about this today. It was actually a competition that began about 2 weeks ago. The George Institute, which is a medical research body based in Sydney, Australia, has issued a global request for inventions. They're looking for someone who can design an affordable dialysis machine that is ultra portable to try and reduce,
Should only have one port.
Okay, back to seriousness. And it's got some strange requirements. So I'll probably just read them out off of the press release here. To win the prize, which is $100,000, by the way, is your machine will do as just as good a job as a traditional dialysis machine, which usually costs between 10 and 20 grand. Run off rechargeable batteries and solar power. Take water from any source and purify it on the spot. Target manufacturing cost of about $1,000 and meet all the safety requirements of current blood pumps.
Will it do my taxes?
No. no.
I do those.
Tucker, you've still got a job.
This sounds terrible.
Well, Harry, you've been in hospital, or has anybody here actually been on dialysis or had family who's been on dialysis?
Yeah, my grandfather.
Yeah, it's not exactly an easy process.
No.
It's very difficult and it's very, very costly. Dialysis, as I said, dialysis machines, just a really low-end one is about 10 to 20 grand. So they're trying to get something that will work.
Get a gold Apple Watch for that price.
Yeah, so the prize is $100,000, which is, nothing to scoff at, but not really a huge amount you'd imagine for a medical invention. But I imagine you'd probably get a patent on it and make a absolute dickload of money. But yeah, I just think that was actually remarkably interesting. I only heard about it today, but it makes you think, what, like in a wider context, is there room for just random inventors anymore that can just say, I need something that does this and not have to go to China for it?
Your SpaceX did a similar thing, remember? Elon Musk company. They said the competition for pretty much designing their next rocket, and there was a massive prize for it, and, a whole bunch of people who won that competition now.
Everybody downloaded Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah. So the what's the fucking word? Not prerequisite. What's the word? In legal terms, precedent is there for that sort of thing. But in the medical field specifically, I haven't heard of anything other than what you just described. Sounds cool though.
Yeah, no. So anybody wants any information, just at georgeinstitute.org.au, and they've got all the information there if you want to try and build your own dialysis machine.
Nice. Oh man, I wish we were at Star Trek levels where they could just wave a magic wand and be fixed. I have to go to hospital in the next 12 hours. I got a friggin' nose operation.
Oh no!
And no, it's not cosmetic. It's not cosmetic.
Sure, it isn't.
So I can breathe.
It should be. How long are you going to be screwed over for?
Oh man, it'll take a week to recover. It's actually really gross. It's totally gross. You know that little bit of skin that's in between your nostrils? That little.
How do you know about that piece of skin in between my nostrils?
So that's literally the only thing that's really holding your nose on.
Mm-hmm.
If you cut that, you can basically turn your nose inside out.
Why is yours cut?
Because they need access to my nose, so that would be an easy way for them to get access to it.
Okay.
Anyway,
cool
Finny,
story,
what do you got
bro.
for us
This week?
Okay, so back to smartwatches. In response to,
Let's hold on. One more segue.
Great segue.
Another segue. No, not that segue. Cal started speaking, and Finny had the perfect segue because his story's about smartwatches as well. And then Cal just started speaking.
You told me it was me.
Everyone was fucking talking in the chat. I want to go. No, I want to go. No, I want to go.
No, I said it should be Finny because
And
it
then
makes
Cal was
sense.
like, I have the perfect segue, guys. It's some medical stuff. Okay, from now on, Finny goes first.
God in heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Uninformed podcast.
Yeah.
Unorganized as well.
Alright, tell us about Swatch.
In response, or seemingly in response to the announcement of the Apple Watch, Swatch has come out and said that they'll be producing their own lineup of limited smart watches. They won't have the completely realized functions of Android and smartwatches and the Apple smartwatch. It'll have relatively restricted features, but consequently the price won't be as bad, and you still get sort of the brand names under which Swatch produce, which is quite a few. I mean, they have Omega, Calvin Klein, Rado, and a couple of other ones as well that are quite well known. So the two types of wireless communication they intend on building into them is NFC and Bluetooth. So NFC, you'll be able to make contactless payments, so you could store credit card information on your phone, on your watch, or open hotel doors and other stuff like that. Bluetooth, you can connect to the smartphone, so that's probably the more usable one. Although it'll have news updates, text messages, and other notifications. But he says they say it's unlikely you'll be able to manipulate anything from it. It's just going to show you what's happening on your phone. And pretty much, it's interesting. I don't think they really want to compete with smartwatches, but they also can't ignore the fact that technology is now entering into their industry. Like they even said, we're not a consumer electronics company. We're not going to transform, put the mobile phone on the wrist. Let the others do it. Samsung, Sony, and everyone else that does it. So it's interesting. This is like a halfway attempt to keep up with the industry as technology enters it. I'm not quite certain how it'll pay off for them though, because even with smartwatches, I can see for quite some time into the future there'll still be a market for classical analog watches, because anyone who's got more money than sense is going to go, well, I want to buy a big flashy watch. Why don't I go buy one of Swatch's things, or the more famous brands, because you can easily spend $30,000 on one of those things.
$100,000.
Or, yeah, if you want to go completely over the top. So...
Because $30,000 is modest.
In some parts of the world, I'm sure it is.
So that's what I was talking about earlier with China, right? I mean,
yeah.
here spending that much on a watch is a crazy thing. But like, you know, when I got married, my mother-in-law bought me like this tens of thousands of dollars necklace, like a gold necklace. It's just a thing you do. Wealth is made to be displayed over there.
Bling bling.
Well, China has
I'm too scared to watch it.
Millionaires.
Yeah, I'm too scared to wear it.
Are they forgetting that Pebble exist?
Yeah, Pebble, lol. Pebble, okay. We've got some news
Exactly.
about Pebble.
Pebble is
actually.
lol-worthy, so...
We've got some news about Pebble, actually, in that they were pretty smart. They made a bit of a pivot a couple of weeks before the Apple Watch announcement, called the dumbest name of all time. It's called the Pebble Time. And it is now a color e-ink screen, and they're not trying to, they were very smart because they're not trying to compete with Android Wear or Apple Watch. Their big thing is 7-day battery life, right? And all these other things are, 1 day, 2 day. So their big thing is the battery life in their e-ink screen, and some apps you can use on it. So they were actually pretty smart. And I wish them well, because they've done pretty well. But Pebble's like, the tiniest fish in the world's largest pond now. So they had to pivot, really.
Fair enough. Speaking of batteries in watches, I'm actually pretty surprised at this because, I'm in Melbourne. I'm not going to bring a phone charger with me. This thing
Because you're an idiot.
Wait, why not?
Why
wouldn't
would
you
I
bring your
bother?
phone
I wanted to find out how long this thing can last. And on power saving mode, I've gotten 3 days out of this thing, and I'm down to 39% power. That's pretty good. And that's not
on your phone or on your
on my watch. And that's
That's
not
good.
with me doing nothing. I've been making pretty much every call I've made is through voice command to my watch, and I've had it navigate me around the suburb a bit. So it's doing its job. Just being on power saving mode means the screen is off by default until you press the button on the side of it.
You can't do a thing where you lift it up with your wrist and it turns on?
So normally it's got all of its gyros or whatever. Accelerometer, is it?
Yeah, like in that mode, how long will the battery last?
So in that, you typically would only just get more than 1 day,
Okay,
unfortunately.
yeah.
So in
that'll be
power
the
saving
mode
mode,
most
I'm getting
people
at
use.
least the better part of a week.
Okay. Better part of a week, 3 days.
Well, no, but if I'm down to 40%, and it's already been 3 days. There you go. Maths, John.
I think that most people use it in the main mode. I don't think they'll switch to that because they don't have to.
Yeah, but I mean, most people have access to their phone charger at least more than once a week. So
I don't know why you. Wait, what about your Nexus?
What about it?
Do you have your charger for that?
Yeah. No. This thing hasn't got a micro USB thing on it. It's got a magnetic dock.
Oh, okay. You did bring
Just
that.
just throw it on the dock.
Right, okay.
For
You kept saying phone charger, so I was wondering what you were talking about. I meant
All right, fair enough.
Watch charger. Finney, what you were speaking about earlier, actually, one of the guys said, I don't know if it was in the article you were reading or another one, an interview I read with someone right after the Apple Watch announcement, which was that I think it was, I don't know if it was the head of Swatch or it might have been the head of that consortium that owns Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, all those guys. It's he said something about he's actually happy that this is happening because it'll actually get people wanting to wear things on their wrist again, because most people don't. You know, most people have gone back to the pocket watch day. Like, you know, back in the day, you'd pull out a watch, look at it, and then put it back in. Now we pull out our phones, look at it, and put it back in just like a pocket watch. Now it's getting people wanting to wear things on their wrists again. So he's actually kind of happy about it. And he says that the biggest threat that they have is if men suddenly decide that they can wear jewelry on their wrist without a timekeeping context. You know?
Yeah, I can see that happening. I can see why he'd be happy, because there's a possibility that people would suddenly want a watch again, but maybe not want a smartwatch. So they'd buy a regular watch instead.
Nah.
Yeah. So,
I can definitely see that happening.
Well, meanwhile, in England... No, not England, Europe. Or somewhere in Europe. Maybe a bit further up to the northeast. There's this little circle. By little, I mean humongous. CERN. Large Hadron Collider. They're starting it back up again. I am very excited.
How long does
Become
it
a
take for a
journalist with that
segue to do that entire loop?
his segue was even retarded because it's like, oh, speaking of watches in England.
Circles.
Speaking of circular things,
circles. France.
CERN!
So what about it?
We've lost Tucker.
Alright, Large Hadron Collider has been given the go-ahead to restart after being closed for 2 years, because they have to do maintenance. I mean, hell, you have to do maintenance eventually on a bloody 2 kilometre... Is it 2 kilometres?
It's like 35 kilometers, isn't it?
Yes.
It goes like in between 2 different countries, I believe.
But to be fair, I'm trying to read this because Tucker has gone fucking AWOL. Give me time. I'm trying to fill in here.
One of the lead scientists said when they were starting the back up, he said, "We're looking forward to breaking physics again."
Yeah, 27 kilometers. There you go, in circumference.
Famous
And
words.
yeah, no, that's really fucking long.
Tucker, are you there now?
I'm there now. For some reason, I dropped out.
Oh,
Your
we were so
timing
angry
was
at you.
perfect.
So Tucker, tell us about the Large Hadron Collider.
Callan told
It's
us
large
what
and it collides.
So Callan told us what it is. You tell
Good.
us the ramifications of it.
So, as to the last big thing that they released from CERN was discovery of the Higgs boson in 2012, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of confirmed it 2013 that yes, their findings were correct. At least I think that's the case. So that was done at 8 TeVs. Now, Finney, I think that's tera electron volts. Is that correct?
TeV.
I asked you because you're the scientist here. Yeah, TeV.
Hang on a second. How do you spell that?
Capital
E. Followed lastly by V. TeV. Now, I believe that's an acronym. However, according to the English department, it could be something else.
Okay, I've got to look up an example of an acronym.
Hang on, I've just plugged it into Google.
Google,
Yeah.
what is an acronym?
There we go.
It's an initialism.
No, NATO. There we go. NATO. NATO is an acronym.
Okay, all right.
CIA is an initialism.
All right, then.
Laser is an acronym. NBA is an initialism.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So anyway, the last big thing they released from CERN essentially was the Higgs boson. Now, it appears that they're going to up
That
the
they
power.
released their last previous selling.
Yes, their last patch notes. Their last patch notes was Higgs boson, great work there.
Yeah.
So the next thing they're going for apparently is dark matter. So very excited.
Why are you excited, Tucker?
It's science. Who does not get excited about science? We're fucking nerds here.
That's true. And it's
Of course.
called dark matter.
Yes, dark matter.
Are you going to explain what dark matter is, or are we just going to let people look it
Fuck
up?
no.
You motherfuckers are
Very
very
complicated mathematics.
We all have access to Google. We can all look up dark matter, and
It's a matter that all other matter is racist against.
yeah. Don't have dark matter near your bikes.
no. No, but still, it's nice to see the advancements of science and technology and the ridiculous amount of money that gets funded into CERN every year. So
they could spend some of that money on electrolytes and science and to make Power Thirst into a real drink, I think.
But Power Thirst is crystal meth. Didn't you listen to the advertisement?
That's true. 400 babies.
Like an F-15 made out of biceps.
That's it, Tugger? You just told us about dark matter and science, and that was it?
yeah, I could go on to Stephen Hawking's concerns of his concerns of increasing the power that they're using in CERN to perform these experiments.
Just build ITER right next to it. ITER, for people who don't know, is the first fusion reactor they're trying to create.
Oh, that can end well.
Yeah. Wait, you're
popular.
not editing this out?
I think it'll be edited out completely.
How many segments of Tucker's have I edited out over the past year?
I would say 3 weeks worth because I haven't been here that long.
That's true.
Let's review our 2014 podcasts and see if we can actually find Tucker in any of them.
I'm surprised you let me be in any of them. I'm surprised you guys still let me be in them. You guys are idiots.
Well, everyone needs a rebound girl, Cal. All right, let's move on to what we've been playing this week.
Okay, Grey Goo. John, you have a somewhat different opinion to me in that I think this is a StarCraft clone.
Well, explain what the game is, then we'll talk about what.
Okay, so it's an RTS that just came out on Steam. Came out a couple of months ago on Steam.
I think it was 3 weeks ago, I believe. I bought
like
it on release. I think it was 3 weeks.
Anyway, it's a 3-faction RTS set sometime in the future. I haven't played enough to really get a hold of the story. Where the fuck does it say who made it?
It was Petroglyph, the Westwood guys.
That's right, yeah, Petroglyph. So it's a couple of the older RTS developers.
It was all Westwood. It was all the old Westwood guys.
Yeah, no, and this is...
Fucking love Westwood.
Well,
they did
best
Empire
RTS
War as well.
So to me, it's very much a StarCraft clone. It's much smaller base than the old Westwood games. The base building's much more simplified and in a lot of ways for me quite irritating. So the base building is centered around hubs. You build a hub, each hub has a certain number of attachment points. So for instance, your main hub, your headquarters, has 4. So you can build...
This is for the one of the factions.
Oh, is it different between factions?
Have you not played as the Goo?
Not yet, no. This
very different as the Goo.
I got an idea. How about I actually do the proper review later on, when I've actually played the game a bit more?
No. Do a Harry. Harry.
No, the reason I'm doing this is because
17 minutes is more than enough.
Some semblance of integrity and not spend 17 minutes.
27 minutes, I'll have you.
All right, well, let's give your first impressions and talk about it more next week.
Yeah, okay. So first impressions are a little bit disappointed. Some of the aspects of it are quite irritating in how they work. For instance, the first faction I'm playing, I built tech attachments on one of the external hubs, which unfortunately, because they weren't connected to my main hub, which had my factories, meant that I couldn't build the associated units. It seems that the factory has to be attached to the hub with the tech attachment. I've never seen that before, and it pissed me off no end, so I was extremely disappointed there. Gameplay-wise, as far as I'm concerned, it's almost identical to StarCraft in terms of its combat. There's a few different things, like there's elevation and scrub thrown in, and artillery units. But beyond that, as far as I
thought the only
tell,
scrub thrown in was you.
Well, there was that, yeah. No, John, go home.
I actually don't agree about that. We were speaking earlier about this game, and the reason I don't agree about the StarCraft comparison is there's effectively no micromanagement in this game. There's no multitasking. This is just base building, send dudes out, base building, send dudes out, which is turtle, send dudes out, which is what Command and Conquer and Red Alert is all about. It may not have the same type of base building as those old games, but it's very, very different to StarCraft when you actually play it. There's no... I mean, maybe the campaign is. I haven't played the campaign more than a little while. I've just played a lot of the multiplayer, and it's very, very slow, no multitasking, quite boring, to be honest. You don't have to do much, which is why I don't think it's like StarCraft at all.
I do agree with you on the fact that the gameplay is actually kind of boring. I mean, I haven't played it.
Very slow.
Yeah, the Westwood games were good because the maps were rather large and open, so you could get a lot, and the unit diversity was a lot better. Like the divide between infantry and armor was pretty big, So the battles in that instance were a lot more entertaining because there was a lot more going on. These ones is literally just blob meets blob in very tight quarters combat, and then you just sit there and wait and see who dies first. So that way it was rather boring, really.
Yeah, which is why I don't think the StarCraft analogy is very apt, because that's not how it works in that. But I really think you'll enjoy, maybe not enjoy, but you'll at the very least appreciate playing as the Goo, because it really is just a very, very different style. You're literally Goo, and you just expand. You are a big Goo, and you expand, and that's
basically,
so John can relate to it.
You play as me, effectively. The other thing I wanted to say about this game is it has probably the worst name game. What a shit name.
Grey Goo.
It's like such a terrible name.
The Goo's not even grey, it's
Give
black.
me 5 minutes and I will find you a worse name for a game.
Hyperdimension Neptunia Super Sexy Kawaii Edition X, something like that, I'm sure. That's a real game, Tucker. Don't even bother. One thing I did like, Finny, was actually the cutscenes were really good, I thought. Really
Holy
nice.
crap, no, the quality in those is amazing.
Yeah, like the game itself has like AAA quality for something that's an indie studio.
Yeah, I know. I will say that it's incredibly well built. Functionality wise, flawless.
Good launch. Nothing went wrong, really.
Very good launch. Graphics wise, the in-game graphics, they're not bad.
They're okay. They're
RTSs have never been known for cutting-edge graphics because that's not what you're there for, but they're still quite good. I mean, I've been stuck in levels where it's just permanently night, so not exactly great. But in terms of the build quality of it, it's been perfect so far, and the cutscene quality is of such amazingly high quality.
Great. It's like, it's like Blur level sort of cutscenes. They're great. They're really,
yeah, I
really
had
good.
not expected that.
Yeah. So I think during the week, let's play some more of the single player, and then you and I should play a couple of multiplayer matches too, so you can try out the Goo.
And John, I have successfully found a game called Hot Tin Roof: The Cat That Wore a Fedora.
You made a game, Harry?
Damn it! I was going to surprise you guys.
That is a horrible name. Definitely a Harry name.
Oh, look
Now-
at the game. It's even funnier.
Now, on a
Holy
game...
shit.
Okay, so now onto a game with an awesome name, Elite Dangerous Friendship is Magic, also known as Elite Dangerous Wings. Have we all watched the trailer that came out of Frontier this week?
No, I've only
The
read the
tutorial
release.
about wings?
Hmm?
The 6-minute long tutorial about how wings work and all that?
No, I just watched the tutorial. I just watched the trailer they released. It looks cool.
The trailer. So explain what this update's all about.
To me, it looks like proper multiplayer is coming to the game. Because before, I don't think we actually had any sort of co-op whatsoever when we all tried playing Elite Dangerous at the same time.
Correct.
The thing that seemed to happen was we all seemed to crash into the spaceships.
Have they
And the,
idiot-proofed docking for you and Harry yet?
Oh, thank God! No, I can do docking now. Just the first 5 minutes of playing the game
Oh,
without
I'm
doing
sure you
tutorials was
Docking's
eventful.
so easy, guys. Come on.
You had a bloody automated voice thing to do your docking.
No, I don't. I fly in there.
I don't either. I'd have found it no difficulty
Docking's
whatsoever.
so easy. And then if you are somehow as retarded as you guys seem to be, there's a docking computer you can buy for like 2,000 credits.
Nah, I took that out. So now I can properly dock and stuff. But I will admit I should probably have watched the tutorials and played around a bit before I decided to go straight into the game after downloading it.
Wait, are you saying that you removed the docking computer and then complained about docking?
No, afterwards.
I was about to say, it's like
I
removing a wheel
removed
from
the
your
condom
car.
and then complained about pregnancy.
Yeah. I removed the wheels from my car and complained about movement.
No. So I outfitted my ship to go for the more cargo conscious, so be efficient and get more money per run. And I figured,
So, hauler.
yeah, pretty much hauler. Although I am planning to save up and go for the what's the one after the hauler that has more cargo space in it?
The big hauler.
Yeah, the big one. I forgot.
I don't know what it's called. It's just the big hauler.
So, Tucker, did you look into this story at all, or do you have any details about it, or do you want me to tell you the details?
Are you kidding? I assumed you'd just take over straight away because it's your game.
So you just said Elite Dangerous and then just waited for me to tell you
No.
something.
I was saying is like this is what I've been waiting for, the proper co-op to come out for Really Dangerous, because so far it's been a solitary experience. Like
So,
even though we've been online, like I've been online with Cal, but I barely see Cal. and we're not able to do things. We can't both take missions and then go out and complete it. Whereas this trailer does imply that you all take the missions, especially like bounty hunter missions and trade route missions, and you're able to actually go through and like play together properly and hopefully share in the reward and be able to complete the quests together.
Does that mean that we can be elite and dangerous
and
together?
Yes. That's what this is what I've been looking forward to. This is
what the actual news is. What the actual news is, outside of Tucker getting excited about a trailer and then not looking into it further, is this Wings update not only includes Wings, it also includes a couple of new ships as well. But it's effectively a communications upgrade. You can have people in your friends list, not in your friends list, join a wing with you, and you can see where they are in the galaxy. They'll stick with you through instances. So, Cal, that time when we were chasing that guy, and then I got blown up by the anaconda, you could have been there with me. You can slave your drive to like a leader. So, like, say Tucker's our leader, he turns on the friendship drive. All our friendship drives turn on. We follow him through friendship.
Yes.
Then when he drops out, we will drop out. Yeah. When he drops out, we'll all drop out. You know, you can do all that sort of stuff, and so it pretty much creates an instance just for you guys, just for us, and then we can go and fly around and have a good time ourselves.
Does that mean I need to spend 2 hours going back to the entry level areas where you guys still are?
Yeah, absolutely.
God damn it!
Now.
I went on an epic journey because I got bored for one night.
So it's not specifically that they added co-op or anything like that. Like, there's no new content. It's now
it's functional.
They've enabled something that should have been in the game in the first place. But I think we're going to see that a lot over the next year or so. This game is we're going to get stuff that makes the game actually fun rather than the bare bones that it is right now. So,
but
the one thing
what
I need to know is the instance.
What I need to know is, can I stab Tucker in the back while he's defusing the bomb at B? I want that kind of intimacy with other people.
I still have not had my retribution. Okay, it will be swift. It will be just.
I hear that justice.
Better fucking believe it that I will have my vengeance, Harry.
I don't know. I thought a lot of rustling happened in.
It did, but that's only build up. See, it's build up. See, I like to enjoy my revenge on you, Harry.
Oh dear.
So, speaking of England and or Northeast Europe and or France and or whatever the fuck Tucker's segue was meant to be about, I'm going to steal that segue and talk about War Thunder, which is, I guess, related to Europe somehow because wars happen there. So War Thunder came out a few years ago, plane, simulator. It was, it's got really nice graphics. You can put a neckbeard on your wing and then let your flap tip his fedora. It uses Oculus Rift support. It can support my joystick. It's actually really, really fun. Now, there's also a super, super popular, one of the most popular games in the world game called World of Tanks, which has a separate game called World of Warplanes that they recently released. And they've said at various conferences, one day in the distant future, a decade from now, we'll be able to have the World of Warplanes world interact with the World of Tanks world, so you can have your friends flying overhead providing air support while you are on the ground in a tank. This is all multiplayer games, by the way. The guys who made War Thunder just go, and they're Russian as well, they go, it's no problem, we do it. And so they just did it. They just went and put a full-on tank simulator that's way more accurate, down to, shooting people through the ammo bay and it explodes and the crew light on fire and all that sort of stuff. They just included it into their warplane simulator. And it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. It's just as complex as the flight stuff, and it's really, really difficult. But it's free to play. It's easy to pick up, just hard to master. It's not pay to win by any means. You can buy cosmetic stuff and all that, but that's about it. Really, really fun. I'd really suggest working it out, and it's great with a squad, either flying around as a squad or being in a tank as a squad. And so I think we should all get and have a good time. Does that sound like something you guys would be interested in?
No,
I've already got it downloaded.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You guys should download it. It is really fun, actually. It's like, Tucker, I got a guy on my 6, and you're like, fuck you, I don't care, and you fly off. Like,
that's exactly what I'll do. Or you'll say,
elite dangerous.
Watch him follow me through this.
Let's see my Battlefield exploits out of it.
It's like Elite Dangerous, but not in space.
Did we ever explain to the audience the let's follow this story?
Probably.
You mean my helicopter skills?
Yes.
John's elite and very dangerous.
Which time? I've done this more than once, but the time we're referring to is, if anyone knows Siege of Shanghai, we were at A on Siege of Shanghai, and I was in a helicopter, the guys were all on the ground, and looking ahead is 2 buildings, and I went to fly in between the 2 buildings, and there was 1 building in front of it, so I had to sort of turn left and up to get out of the way, right? There was a helicopter chasing me. I was in the helicopter. I fly right over Finney and Tucker and Cal's heads.
And what did they say to you?
They said, "Oh, John, you got a guy in your tail." And I was like, "Ha, let's see him follow me through this." And I proceed to slam directly into the building in front of me. And explode everywhere. And then, did that guy get away, by the way?
Yes,
he did.
Well, there you go. So,
that's what was the funniest part about it.
So that's happened about 8 times, pretty much. So whenever I get into a helicopter in a map in Battlefield, it's pretty much like, oh, guys, we've won the game already. It's the other team should just uninstall the game.
Yeah. So in conclusion, John can't drive any vehicle in Battlefield. Whether it be on land or in the air, he can't do it. No. He always manages to fuck it up, and most of the time it involves me dying because he jumps out of the vehicle and leaves me in there.
Why you do what I do and not get into a helicopter with him?
Well, that's what I do now, but before I didn't know this.
Everyone has a learning process in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else been playing anything this week?
Do you really want to know?
Oh my God,
Harry's been below me in rank in CSGO. That's what he's been playing.
I know. I was busy playing all of 3 minutes of Honey Pop.
Did you match the 3 coins or whatever?
Okay. Let me just put out a public service announcement. It's not so hilarious that... Sorry, it's not so bad that it's hilarious. It's horrible. Don't go anywhere near it. I finally agree with you, John. Steam is putting bad games on its library. I disagreed for you for so long until I played that game.
They're putting out so much shit because anyone could just put something on there.
Yeah, but I mean, I disagreed with you with games like how do you do it? I thought that was hilarious and fun to be on the Steam library. This is not. Honey Pop should not be there.
Look, we've got a lot to talk about with Steam, but we'll leave it till next week.
Yep.
Harry had a story, but we'll leave it till next week. About Steam getting an F in customer service from the Better Business Bureau.
Let's face facts. They just all want Half-Life 3.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll continue to give Fs until I get it.
Yep.
Definitely. Well, is there anything else from you guys this week?
Nope.
Still waiting for my Apple Watch.
Well, a couple of weeks, Tucker.
I don't want to wait a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks, we'll have the privilege of pre-ordering it.
I know.
And then a month from then, we'll get it. But anyway, until then, thank you for joining us for Uninformed. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, watch us on YouTube, tweet us at Uninformed News. I tried to keep a straight face, Cal.
Somebody changed the script.
Callan's changed my script to some very rude words.
Oh my God. John, you've been saying it for like a year now.
I know, I should be able to remember it. But I got to emu. And I couldn't.
Wait, what has he written?
I'll read it out then. Thank you for joining us for Uninformed. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, watch us on YouTube, twat us at Uninformed News, or emu us at uninformedpodcast@gmail.com. I'm Jonathan Clarkey.
I am Princess Desu Kawaii Harry-chan.
I'm Captain Finnegan of Estonia.
Lord Callington of Pakistan.
We are bleeping that.
Well, and that's what you come up with for me. Tuck truck.
Yeah, I ran out of ideas.
Yeah, like tuck rhymes with fuck, Cal. It's so easy.
It's because you didn't put my name in the script, so I added myself, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to modify everybody else too.
Nice.
Shit. Well, yeah, like, you've fucking become uninformed.